If you're looking for a great resource to be able to work with some buyers, consider looking at targeting buyers, and in particular, targeting folks who are currently renting. We're going to go over a lot of tips, tricks in this week's mastermind on how you can work with more folks that are renting and turn them into buyers.
Today's going to, we're going to be talking about trying to prospect for renters, folks who are currently renting. And, we need to have just a little bit of discussion about looking at the rental market, why this would be a target client for you, the benefits of doing that kind of thing. So, to start off with, like renting, or if you're going to work with renters, working with renters can be a longer term strategy. You can also get some folks who are ready to buy much quicker as well, and we're going to go over that. But do you have the opportunity to help someone find a rental? Yes, you do. It is not very financially rewarding. We sometimes we find rentals that'll be $200, $100, $300 kind of thing. That can be a little bit depressing and off-putting. And so that's not necessarily what I am suggesting. That being said, however, when you create a client, when you create a client relationship and you build a bond with them early on, then when it is time for them to buy, that is a lifelong client there as well. So I'm not necessarily knocking it, but by the same token, that's not really what I'm trying to target or focus on today. I do think that one of the big advantages you have in working, if you're going to try and target renters, is that a lot of real estate professionals almost have disdain for renters. And I think that's kind of sad. We have a lot of folks who are like, oh, you're renting? I'm sorry. No, I don't work with rentals. No, I don't do that kind of thing. And so I'm going to encourage you not to kind of have that mindset. You do want to have some resources for renters, because buying is not always the number one choice for everybody. And I think that we have to be honest about what's going on in the buyer's world. If they're not going to live in a home for 3 or 4 years, then renting is probably the best choice for them. It takes 3 to 4 years just to be able to build up enough equity, because you have all your down payments, and then, especially when you're starting off, all your fees are on the front end, that kind of stuff. If you're not going to stay in a home for 3 or 4 years, then renting may actually be the best choice for them. We have to care enough about our clients to be ready to recommend what's best for them. So I am a huge proponent for home ownership. I think it's another thing. I know it's the number one path of wealth creation in the United States is through home ownership. So we want to make sure that we are promoting that, but we also have to be very honest about what's the best choice for our clients. And not that we're going to make that decision for them, but they are going to ask for our advice. And that's probably one of the biggies there is if you're not going to live there 3 or 4 years, then you probably want to rent. That's not every single case by any means, but that is kind of one of the basics of it out there, kind of thing. Now, when you start looking at, like, I want to work, renters or tenants, I guess would be one of the easiest things. When you say, why is that? Well, I want you to look at what's happening in our landscape right now. So traditionally, first time buyers make up almost half of our buyer market. It normally sets off the entire buying process. This person sells this home so a first time buyer can move into it, that kind of stuff. Our first time buyer activity level has been very, very low over the last several years, and that's largely due to what's been happening with interest rates. So the good news is, and one great message to be talking about, is what's happening with interest rates. Interest rates are down significantly. At one point, we were over 8, and now for FHA loans, for example, they're in the higher to mid fives at this point. We saw some 5.6s and 5.7s come through in the last week or so. So that's a really big game changer, having that. This first time buyer market is also it's a very, I'm not going to say easy, but it like for so many newer agents or less experienced agents, it's a very easy place to move in and feel very comfortable early on. So that's another very good reason. We have a lot of folks want to buy but don't necessarily know how to. So you definitely need to be a good educator when it comes to really, working with our renters, those kind of things. These are folks that a lot of these folks don't understand anything about home ownership. So you have to be ready to come in and put your teacher's hat on. It's super important that you do that because these folks don't understand. We have renters who think like, oh, I have to pay for water. I thought garbage was free. Well, they've lived in an apartment their whole life. They've never had to pay for water. They've never had to pay for garbage. So you have to let folks know sometimes. And so educating the folks who have been, apartment dwellers their whole lives can it's not challenging, but we do need to make sure that we're preparing them for what homeownership has. The benefits for homeownership are vast, but you need to make sure that you are ready to talk about the power of homeownership and how important it is to you. It is the number one creator of wealth. People who live in homes who own homes live longer than those who don't. That if you measure people's happiness, it's higher for homeowners than it is for renters. Relationships are the divorce rate is lower in homeownership than it is in renters. So there's a lot of really positive attributes. When you talk about why is the number one reason why the average person wants to own a home, it's because they want to. Now, I know that that's not really that like earth shattering or anything like that, but the home ownership, especially for our first time buyers and for renters, why do you want to own a home? Because I want to. I want something that's mine. I want to place something, like that just quest for home ownership is just like it's an American thing. We all want to have our own little piece of land. We want to have something that is intimately ours. And the reason I'm talking about these is because these are all very important things to talk about and to present to your the folks who are renting that we're going to be marketing to in a little bit. You have to be ready to talk about what's really important to them. And home ownership is intimately important, right? It's very easy for us to get wrapped up in sales this year versus last year, this transaction, that transaction, but we're dealing with people's lives, hopes, dreams. There's a lot of the impact that we have and the opportunity for impact that we have in people's lives is staggering. So let's make sure that we're focusing on that as well. So once you've decided that you really do want to work with renters and that those first time buyer segment, those two kind of go hand in hand heavily because so many of our first time buyers are currently renting. We do have some that are still living with their parents, but the lion's share is folks who are currently renting. Excuse me. So how do you target folks who are currently renting? And I want to go through and we call these 9-month rentals, but just the whole premise for today is that we're going to be, when I say targeting renters, I don't mean this in a negative way. These are folks that we want to work with. These are folks that we want to help them experience the joy of home ownership. So when I say target, don't take that as a negative at all. These are folks that we really want to work with, and we have to be very ready to work with. One other thing I'm going to strongly recommend is that you have a lender that enjoys working with first-time buyers and is very comfortable with down payment assistance and knows all those programs. I only say this because we see that some lenders, they get very comfortable. They work in, they've been working in their business for a long time. They built up a significant client base, and they only want to work with the clients that have a 720 or 740 credit score, that have a lot of money in the bank, and that's great for them. If you can get a client, just clients like that, good for you. But we need lenders who are hungry. We need lenders who are going to work with down payment assistance, who are going to understand all the benefits of the grants and the promotions that are out there for our first time buyers, who are going to understand the importance of being able to shop the different types of rates. Right now, the FHA market is a really strong one for our first time buyers, largely because they have 100, well, at worst case scenario, they have to put 3.5% down. And right now, FHA is running about half a point lower than conventional financing is. We also have some 100% FHA programs where they don't even have to, they don't even have to have their down payment. They can get a second mortgage, basically. It's a second year, 10-year mortgage that takes care of the first time, or it takes care of that 3.5% down. They do still have to pay it back, but there are those kind of programs. If you're going to work with renters, you need to be ready to discuss and go over all the down payment options, opportunities, those kind of things. Just in going through this, I'm going to bring Sharon in and have her go over. We'll do a mastermind just on down payment assistance and all the different programs that are available out there. So we'll have those for you coming up as well. But if you this is one of those things, if you're going to try and work inside this first time renter market, we want to be able to come in and, what are things that we can do to save them money? What are things we can do to help them with their down payments? These kind of things are really gonna they're gonna love you for that. They're also gonna need you to know this kind of information. And so even before we get into the meat and taters of this thing, understanding that who you're trying to work with, their goals, their motivations, and then what tools and systems do you need to have in place, that lender is going to be make or break for you. You want a lender that wants to work with renters, first time buyers, and DPA. Not all of them do. We have a lot of amazing renters. Of course, I love Sharon. She's going to be my go-to for all those kind of things because she's really good on working with first time buyers. She knows all the down payment programs, those kind of things. And consider using her. But if you don't have one, but if you do, make sure that lender is a good lender focused on first time buyers. So now you've got all these tools set up and in place. What are you going to do? Right? How do you start targeting renters? Well, there's a lot of different things that you can do. First thing I want to talk about is what we call 9-month rentals. And so you want to be able to go in and you want to target neighborhoods, or not neighborhoods, but like counties where people have leased property 9 months ago. And so you can go into Georgia MLS, you can go into FMLS, and you can search through the MLS. And what you're looking for is rental leased properties that were rented 9 months ago. So now I would want anyone that rented a property from January 1 to January 31st. I want that physical address of those people that rented a house. And these are rental houses. These are not apartments. We will talk about apartments in a minute, but these are individual houses, single family residential that was rented, like I said, 9 months ago. So today I would probably be targeting, like I said, January 1 to January 31st of 2023. And you go in, pull that list up. You can export it into an Excel spreadsheet, but basically you just need that list. Now you want to sort it by price, because if somebody rented a house for $400 less, a year ago, they're not going to be able to afford today, right? So I need to make sure that rental amount is amount that actually will qualify for a mortgage. So if the house did not rent for at least $1,400, I'm probably not going to include it on the list. So I'm going to sort out everything from $1,400 up, and I'm going to get that whole list of these are all people that rented a house 9 months ago. Now, once you have the list, here's where you have to go through and we're kind of going old school here. So what you want to do is you want to go in and you want to create a letter, sometimes multiple letters. You can do postcards as well. I just find that letters work really, really good. Postcards tend to get chucked. So, but you just want to go into Word and you have to think about what's going on for that renter. So this person rented a home 9 months ago, basically. We know that one of three things is going to be a reality for them in the next 3 months. So in the next 3 months, they're either going to renew their lease, which we're seeing rental rates are continuing to go up, so their rent's going up. They're going to go find a new lease, which is still going to be very expensive. Or maybe it's time to go ahead and buy a home. We know that a lot of folks rent a home, especially when they move into an area because they don't know the area, they're not sure where to go, but they may not have an agent to work with yet. So these folks may have come in a year ago, just kind of trying to figure out what to do. So this is a very good target market to reach out to. So you want to go and you want to create this letter, and basically you're saying the exact same thing. You're saying, look, in 3 months, this is your reality. You're either going to renew this lease, you're going to pay off your landlord's mortgage for him, and plus make it to where he can make a little bit of money, or maybe it's time for you to start capturing some of the home equity that you have or that you can gain. Being able to share things like how much property, like last year, the average property in Georgia appreciated by $25,000. So that was the average appreciation for the state of Georgia last year. And not that we can say that for certain every single homeowner gained $25,000 in equity last year, but overall everybody did. And so, are you wanting to make some of that equity? That's, I mean, you have to be ready to start talking about these things and presenting these things. So, the letter that you write, it's not that letter is not super like I don't want you to overthink it. It doesn't have to be this fancy form. It doesn't have to be full color, all that kind of stuff. You want it to be very basic, and you want to be able to put in there either a QR code, links to your website, those kind of things. What we find to work so effectively is you want to go in and you want to create a landing page inside KV Core, and you want to create also some search properties inside KV Core. So you want to create a landing page and a squeeze page inside KV Core. And so the easiest thing for you to do, I'll see if I can't pull it up here, and I'll go ahead and share with you what I'm talking about. So, all right. As soon as I find my screen, I will. Look at there. How about that? Let me pull up KV Core, and then I will start sharing with you here too. So I'm showing how bad my eyesight is at the moment. So I apologize. There we go. All right, let me share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you what we're talking about here. So let me go in here. So everybody should be looking inside KV Core. So you're going to write your letter, and what I want you to do is I want you to do 2 landing pages. So if you come over here on the side where it has all lead engine tools, you have build landing page and build squeeze page. We're going to build both of these. And so first we're going to go in and we're going to go build landing page. So we want to come in here. We're going to use it for lead generation. We're going to put in here 9-month rental. We're going to, we can make the background. Oh, it doesn't matter. You can make it the background anything you want. We can make the lead type is obviously, these are going to be buyers. I know you could put them in as renters, but I like to put them in as buyers because I feel like that's who they really are. And then this is where we could come in and do all the things like why buy or why buy versus rent. Get a free weekly list of hot buys in and around your area, that kind of stuff. Variant. And then we could put down different reasons in here. But now this thing is asking us for a URL after login right up here. We don't have that URL yet. And that's why we're going to go back inside KV Core. We're going to go back inside here, and we're going to build a squeeze page. So our squeeze page, we're going to come in here. And so we're at whatever county where you're targeting kind of thing. So let's just say that we're in Henry County. So we're going to put Henry County. I want to go with, let's see, single family. We're going to make sure that it has a price range of, I want it to be at least $100,000. That's not necessarily, I want it to go that low, but I don't want it to have any rentals show up in the list. and I want it to go with up to $250,000. So I can come in here, I can make, I can make my source 9-month rentals again. I can make the hashtag 9-month rentals if I want, that kind of stuff. If I can type. And then I come in here and I hit generate link. And it's going to give me this link, and it's going to give me this short link right here as well. Now, if I go and I look at what that link is, this is a list of all the properties in Henry County under under $250,000. And that is a great list of properties to share. So now I'm going to go back to my custom landing page. I'm going to put in my URL after login. I'm going to put in the one that we just did. I like to require the phone because it's in there. And now I have a landing page that I can send as part of my that letter that I'm sending over to my renters. So like when they come in here and they put in their email and their phone number, they're automatically going to be going into my KB Core database. They can't go any farther. This is where, hopefully you can do this as a QR code. You can do this as a quick link, anything like this. You want to put it in there, and then they put in their email and their phone number. And when they do that, they automatically, when it says see the list, this pops up. Now what you're doing is you're providing value right from the get-go. Here's what's going on. Here's where all the properties are. Here's a great deal on this. But the benefit here is that you now have their contact information. You now have the ability to where you can start interacting and engaging with people. So let me go back to the letter, because I wanted to walk you through the letter first, because the letter is important. Some folks like to do future homeowner, those kind of things. You can throw that in there if you want to. When we did our letters, we didn't title it with anything. We just started talking off. We just started with the top of the paragraph. Like, aren't you tired of paying your landlord's rent? Isn't it time to have your own home? All those benefits, all those points that we were talking about, what's important for a buyer, that's always how we started off. And then we said, one of these 3 things is happening. If it's time for you to be a homeowner, click on this link below. Sometimes we have renters, not renters, mortgage professionals that will sometimes LOs that will jump in and do some things with you along the same lines, but you send this letter out. Now, what's more important than the letter is the envelope. I know it sounds weird, but it's really true. Without doing the right envelope, then your letter doesn't get opened. So the letter, yes, is important. There's definitely some attributes you want to make sure that you're paying attention on there. But the envelope, there's a couple of key things. If you want to get your envelopes opened, and that's our very first step. You want to make sure that it's handwritten. So it needs to be, written out in pen. Don't make a mailing list, that kind of stuff. That's an immediate red flag. So it has to be handwritten. You can put your return address, just for your return address, you can put your name and then your office location on there, kind of thing. Again, handwritten. Needs to have a stamp. Don't get it scanned in there. Don't put in future homeowner. Don't put in anything on the address. Just put the address, 123 Smith Street, or whatever it may be. Just the address, your return address, and a stamp on there. Now, on the back of the envelope, I want you to go to the dollar store, pick up a thing of stickers. You can get 100 stickers for $1 at the dollar store, and just put a little sticker on the very back of the envelope. Because when these envelopes go to these folks who are renting houses, they're going to take the envelope just like you do at home. Like when you get junk mail in, what do? You take it, you're going to look at it on each side, and there's a sticker, there's handwritten. Is that a letter that you're going to open up? Yes. And so you want to make sure that don't go through this whole process just to have somebody that's not going to open your letter. And then you want to make sure that you're providing some value in that letter. Now, one of the beauties of this program is that you can do this one day a month, and then next month it's a whole new list. Yes, it's an investment in stamps. I get that, but we're not talking about a very large investment with a much better return on investment on this project. The other thing is you're starting to create folks that go into your database to where you can start interacting and engaging with people. That's one of the benefits is if you just do a letter and you like call me, they don't call. They don't call that often. That's why putting a QR code, having a link inside there, some folks will call. I can't say nobody calls. Sometimes they will call. But if you'll provide links and QR codes, they'll go check those things out much easier, and then you can capture that information. I mean, these are folks that we know that we can really help them, right? Because we want to help them become homeowners. We want to help them, to realize the power of and the leverage that you get out of home ownership. That's where wealth comes from. So we want to help them be wealthy. And this is genuinely like if you really care about folks, this is a great place for us to be. So I love going and targeting folks who are currently renting a single family home. And that's one of the easiest ways. It is kind of old school, right? You are going in, you're pulling up addresses, and then you're mailing it out. The benefit of this is that you do it once a month. In addition to that, you pull up another list next month, and now you've got next month's list as well. You're going to find it somewhere between 40, 75 addresses that you can mail to every single month. And then next month, you're going to send that to an additional 40 to 75 people, depending on the county size that you're targeting, those kind of things. You can target more if you want to. I'm just saying that, it tends to run 40 to 70 as far as the overall total count on a monthly basis, if that's what you're looking to do. We do have two other things that I want you to kind of consider in targeting and looking at renters. The other one is right now we have a real growth of neighborhoods that are completely rental neighborhoods. These rental neighborhoods, like they were built from scratch. And so the builder came in, developed an entire neighborhood, then sold it to one investor in the whole neighborhood. Now they are as cookie cutter as they come because it'll just be one row after another. The builder just built every single house looking exactly the same. These are the most boring neighborhoods in the entire world. However, this is a great target market for you. If you want to be able to help people realize the dream of ownership, like these neighborhoods this is a gold mine for you. The benefit in doing this is that for these built to rent neighborhoods, the rents are, I'm not gonna say outrageous, but they're definitely up there. The rent, like if you can afford to rent in one of these neighborhoods that is built to rent, those rents are running $2,200, $2,500 a month, like well over what it would cost them to go get a mortgage. And so the benefit you have is that immediately like if somebody buys a home from you as opposed to renting there, they're saving money. So this is a really great place to be. We have a lot of people that will target these neighborhoods because it is a lot of times these are newer homes. They look new. They do the property managers do a good job maintaining the properties. The neighborhoods are well maintained. This is a perfect neighborhood to really look at taking people from here to working inside new construction. These a lot of times the folks that will seek out and take the rent, the new for rent neighborhoods. They love new construction, that idea. To be able to take somebody from there into a new construction neighborhood, right now we got one builder who's doing a 2.99 for the first year, a 3.99 for the second year, and then a 4.99 from there on out. So some amazing rates on new construction. I know that's another discussion completely, but we just find that there's a close correlation between folks who leave these rental neighborhoods and move into new construction. They like that look, they like that safety, that security of those properties. So this is a really good place for you to target. But if you're going to target a rental neighborhood, you need to target it in a very similar fashion as you would a geographic farm. Now we did one of these masterminds several weeks ago, and you can find our mastermind on geographic farming If you go to real estate backstory and scroll down into the mastermind section, you'll find the mastermind for geographic farming. I'm going to just go over it quickly, but like watch that if you know to really look at geographic farming, because but you're going to be farming this neighborhood a little bit differently than a traditional geographic farm, because in any geographic farm we need to reach out once a month. And so first thing you want to do is you want to create a database of addresses more than a database of names. You're not going to know the names of the renters inside the neighborhood, but you can know all the addresses inside the neighborhood. So an Excel spreadsheet is going to be a much easier option for you here, kind of thing. Because like if you were trying to put that inside a drip, well, the only thing we have is a physical address. And so easiest thing to do is just to actually go drive these neighborhoods and notice that, these are the names of the 4 streets in the neighborhood. This one starts at 101 and ends at 144. It skips every 4 numbers. There's your addresses, right? You just go through and gather all the addresses for everyone inside the neighborhood. And then you're going to go old school again. You're going to go postcards, you're going to go letters, you're going to start reaching out and engaging with everybody in the neighborhood. If they're part of next door, if they're part, if the neighborhood has a Facebook page, try and be part of that. The whole idea is that you want to reach out once a month to everyone in this neighborhood, because you don't know when they moved in, when they're moving out, how long the term of their lease is, that kind of stuff. So the whole idea here is that all these folks are renting at a really high rate. And at some point, they're going to be tired of spending that money and not capturing any equity. This is a great farm. You want to send, and when the first thing you do when you set up any kind of geographic farm is figure out, what am I sending out every single month into that neighborhood? We already discussed early on what are some of the important factors for our renters and when thinking about buying, right? How do I qualify for a mortgage? What down payment options are for me out there? What are the benefits of home ownership? Like all these kind of things that you can send out every single month. And every month you need to send out a letter, a postcard. You can drop door hangers off onto their doors. You can get those little clear plastic bags from Amazon and start dropping in flyers and things like that. Just drop it on everybody's front door. Put your business cards in there. But you really want to target that neighborhood. You want to be very consistent in reaching out and engaging inside that neighborhood. They need to see something from you every single month. This is a different kind of geographic farm. This is a geographic farm based on renters becoming homeowners. So your message is different than what it would be in a geographic farm. Most of our geographic farms are targeting sellers. This is a geographic farm targeting renters who want to buy. And so you just want to make sure you keep that focus very clear, because this can be another one that the great part about this one is once you set this up and you send this out, this is another thing where you're sending something out once a month. You're not having to put just a ton of work. Once you have this thing set up and you're sending out once a month, even when they rent out more property, it doesn't matter, because that becomes a new potential target client for you. So I love being able to target the rental neighborhoods, the large rental neighborhoods. The third area I want to speak about a little bit here is apartments, because we do have a lot of people that go from renting an apartment to owning a home. And so, in order to make some headway there, you got a couple of different options on how you'd like to do it. Now, we have some folks that are apartment door knockers, and they go and they knock on doors in apartment complexes. Normally, in the evenings, in the early evenings, that kind of stuff is one of the best times. You can. Some folks try it during the day as well. The whole idea, if you are going to door knock an apartment, is that you want to, first of all, you want to have something that validates who you are. So you want to have some flyers or some kind of promotional materials that you're bringing in there with them. One of the benefits of door knocking in an apartment is 83% of renters want to own. That is an astronomical number when you really think about it. Like if you went and you were gonna door knock for sale by owners, how many of them want to see you? Very few, right? If you went and door knock expired listings, how many of those folks want to see you? Very few. But when you go and knock on renters' doors, 83% of them want to own a home. Now, they all can't. A lot of them don't have physically just the financial ability, but it makes it a very a much more positive experience from the real estate professional's point of view, because these are folks that want to talk to us. These are folks that actually want to engage with us, and that we can bring a lot of value to. So you can go and you door knock. Now, when you door knock, first of all, target properties that have enough rent to where they can actually qualify for a mortgage. If the rental rates are $500 a month, they can't qualify for a mortgage. So it's very easy. Just find out what the average rents are, what the starting rents are in a complex, and then go to those. Go in there. When you do talk to them, one of the best ways to do it is you actually say, "Hey, my name is Alan Rich. I'm with Maximum One. I specialize in helping renters become homeowners. Do you have a moment to chat? And then, how long have you lived here?" And so I like asking how long that they've lived there, because, I already know how much the rent is. So let's say the rent is, I don't know, $1,500 a month. Just throwing a number out there. So I always take my little calculator, and you put in $1,500 a month times 12. And then I say, "Well, how long have you lived here?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we've been here 2 years." I'll be like, that you spent $36,000 the last 2 years paying off their rent here. Wouldn't you like to gain some of that in equity? And so that's a very easy conversation, a door opener, to really be able to have a great conversation with a renter. I like to go in and like sometimes we'll hand them our phones and let them actually apply for the mortgage right then and there. A lot of times they'll say, "Look, I don't know what my credit is," those kind of things. That's when you have your lender on speed dial. You say, "Let's get you qualified right now." The whole idea here is that these are folks that want to buy. A lot of times they don't know. And this is just a great opportunity for you to be able to get in. And like to me, one of the things I love about real estate is helping folks who have like the first generational homeowners. That really, I love that feeling, taking someone, knowing their family has ever owned a home, and I'm going to help you go through that process. It's a really special thing. Now, before we go any further, what about, a lot of properties say no soliciting. A lot of properties that, they're gated, you can't get in. I agree. And so will this strategy work for every single property? No, it won't. But there are some that this will work for. In those instances, we got a couple other options here. And so the first one is that like on your large apartment properties, so many of them are managed by a professional property manager, meaning that, just like we got licensed through GREC, there you can be a licensed property manager through GREC the same way. Now, the benefit of having a property manager is these folks they're the real estate professionals for their industry, right? The one of the biggest benefits is that because they're licensed, they can take a referral. And so we have some agents that are paying as little as a 10% referral fee to the property manager in order to be able to have access to their folks. Now, in all honesty, most of your nicer properties don't let you door knock. They don't want soliciting, and they're going to stop you from soliciting. But that doesn't mean that the doors are closed. It just means that you're not knocking on the doors, because a lot of these same property managers are also having to be like the events coordinator and those kind of things. And so we have some folks that, where we are going on to the rental properties, and sometimes we're holding buyer seminars, sometimes we're holding investment seminars, and sometimes we're just getting straight leads from the property managers, because sometimes the property managers know that people are going to move out. They want them to stay there as long as possible, but if they are going to move anyway, wouldn't it be great if they could get a referral? And so what I'm saying is go in and befriend and engage with the property manager. Don't try and be sneaky and go through when the gate, like tailgate somebody to get through the gate and try and get in. That's not the way to do it. All right. What you want to go in and engage with the property manager. Some are just not going to engage with you, and that's okay, because there's plenty that will. A lot of the property managers would love to partner with you. You have a lot of opportunities and things that you can bring. You can, and like it's very hard for them sometimes to be able to offer up, when it's time to move to buy next. But it's very easy to go in with your lender, for example, and talk about how to get approved for a mortgage. All these things again that we talked about that were important, we can offer those up in forms of seminars, lunch and learns, that kind of thing. So don't try and work around the property managers, try and work with the property managers. You're going to get a lot farther along than if you actually try and like push them out of the way. So I got one question that says, how do we find the renters again? And so there's, I'm just want to make sure that we're on the same page here. So when I say find the renters, you can find renters in the MLSs. You can use Georgia MLS and FMLS. And you want to go in, you want to search for rental properties, rental available, and then you want to sort by the lease date. You want to sort by the off market date. And when you're searching for those are properties that were leased 9 months ago. We just find that to be the right time frame. It gives you 3 months to get somebody into a home. It kind of, it helps to make that, that time is of the essence thing go on. So I love helping renters become homeowners. I really like that's one of the things that I think I enjoy most in real estate. This is also one where it's one of the largest segments that we have in real estate. In addition to that, right now, and if you were in the sales meeting last month, one thing that we identified is that we have more homes priced under 250 now than we've had in years. We have interest rates coming down. Like, it is a really, really good time to buy for our first time buyers, much more so than it has been in the past. So I think that this is a very viable opportunity for real estate professionals. So at this point, I'm just going to kind of open it up to any kind of questions that anybody has, what's going on. If anybody has any issues, thoughts, those kind of things, I'm here for you. Anybody have anything? Let's see. Octavia wants to know, is there a lead service I recommend? It depends on what kind of lead service you mean. Because when it comes to leads, it's about who your target market is. And so before I looked at lead services, I'd look at who is my target market. Like, if you're trying to target sellers, well, there's a lot of different lead sources on there. I really like utilizing HomeBot for sellers. I find that to be a very effective strategy there. But if you're trying to work first-time buyers, I think doing things like this is a really good lead source. I don't hate Zillow and Opcity and those kind of things. However, the thing I don't like about those lead sources is I find that they tend to be almost entrapping. A lot of agents start utilizing those leads where they have to pay out 35, 40, 50% of their commission in order to get those leads. And I get it. 60% of something is a lot better than 100% of nothing. But if you're not building your database and you're not building other lead sources and you're not building your business at the same time, then you always have to give away 60 or 40, 50% of your commission on every single transaction. And that's when it starts to get really expensive on being able to go in and find those. I got a question on how you find duplexes and fourplexes. All you got to do is go in and they will still be listed under rental available. And so you'll find them if you're looking at it that way, or you go in and you're looking under multifamily properties. So, any other questions anybody has? Anybody want to throw in? I'm here for you if you got anything. All right. Well, I hope this was valuable to you. I hope you got some kind of benefit out of it. If you need me, please, Alan at Max One Partners, all these kind of things. Octavia, if you do, I do have some scripts. If you'd like to be sent some of those, if you could just email me, Alan ALAN at Max One Partners, and I'll send that over to you on there.
And Laura, reference to mailing list, you can go to MLS and download those on the target area that you want to target.
Yeah, once you go in and search for properties, you can actually save it to an Excel spreadsheet on there.
And also it'll print it out to a label format. So if you already got labels that you've created, or
Don't
have
use labels though
that you
for
bought.
the letters. Don't use labels for the letters. No one opens letters with labels.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. I mean, that's just, statistically speaking, labels, I get it that it's harder to be easier than that. It is super easy, but I would much rather handwrite them and get them open than do that. And a lot of folks won't open labels.
Well, to Alan's point, Jehovah's Witness wrote us a handwritten letter. We actually opened it.
Which we opened and read. Yeah. I'd never seen a full page handwritten letter. So it was interesting. So, and honestly, I opened it, I read it. So yeah, it worked.
So yeah, you know what, put their name and their address on the envelope. So it looks like it's handwritten. And really quick, for those of you that are wanting to work with a renter section, please come up with a really solid business idea how you want to pursue it. Because otherwise you'll just be spinning your wheel and wasting your time. So we're just being very honest, because there's multiple facets of real estate business lead that you can pursue. So maybe schedule yourself an hour on rental every day, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, however you want to do it. But understand these are different type of clientels and require different needs.
Well, and her advice is so valid. It goes for any lead source that you're using. Like just being willing to stick with it and to keep working it, week after week, month after month. That's where the real value comes in. If it's something that you just try once, it will fail horribly, because we see that happen again and again. Folks will go out and they'll try postcards, and they'll send 1,000 postcards, not get anything. They'll quit doing that, and they'll start doing this, and then they quit doing that. Choose your lead systems and then stick with them, because they work. But it takes consistency.
And Isabel,
I love you guys.
Have a great Monday, y'all.
If you can do anything, let us know. Hope you have a great day.